up somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Oh yes, my Straight Dog family, whenever you hear that theme song, it's time to keep moving on and time to say greetings to the entire world. And of course, we come to you from the federation of two beautiful islands and one lovely paradise. So I am always duty bound to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, because they say charity begins at home. So let me say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis. Good night to the entire Caribbean, and I say greetings to the world. And welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. And he said June come too soon, but yes, we move on into June. And we welcome all and thank all as well who continue to share the link. Because when you do, we get first-timers, and if you are a first-timer, I welcome you and trust and hope it would not be your last time. And I want to also encourage you that if you love what you hear tonight or what you see tonight, tell the world. And if you do not, then you find a way to tell me. But let me say greetings to all those in the Kittitian and Division diaspora around the globe. There are some of you in Africa, there are some of you in Asia, there are some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. And I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And let me apologize for that slight tardy start. I was handling a technical problem here, a little glitch, but we got over it thanks to the technical team, technical director, in fact. And for the first time, let me just inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And on this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I always hasten to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I'm always reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine that speaks to being God's prophet, speaking for the truth and right, and standing firm for godly justice, and bringing evil things to light. And we are to seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Dog family, absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting. Not by omission nor by exaggeration. We are not about sensationalism or creating excitement, especially at the expense of truth, at the expense of accuracy, because we always try to lean on the facts. And I appreciate when you always forewarn me to be careful, but there's only one defense for defamation, and that's the truth. So it is my duty to present the unvarnished truth, I call it, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance in my country and in any part of the world for that matter. Because this program joins us together with the people across the Federation. And we also join with people in the diaspora all around the world. Some we know very well, some we have met, some we will never ever meet. And some of us will agree with the positions of truth that we advance on Straight Talk. And some obviously will disagree because we promote a diversity of views, I call it. And that's fine. But what will sadden me is if we ever start to become disagreeable. So let's thank Almighty God for helping us to understand. Oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So let's therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing His praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks for those who continue to share the link. Please, you bring me first-timers, so please continue to do so. I always want to remind you, and in particular the first-timers, let me inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded, call in. The numbers are on your screens. There's some of you who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. So we give you access via our email platform, and that email address is also on your screen. And as well, we are joined by those who have the Alexa app. Just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. So my Straight Talk family, as well, some of you may have made donations, and I am very tardy in extending gratitude because times I don't see it myself. There's some organization that takes care of that. But I must reassure you nonetheless that your contributions are always welcome, because it will help to defray whatever costs we have here. We do have some costs on this program. So those who wish to donate can simply scan the code on your screen to access the payment form. Very easy process. So thank you again for the support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. And we are also duty bound to hail our Union Brigade, young Dwayne, Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, my grandson Neymar, and his good friend Saraya, who I haven't seen for some time, and the special lady in St. Louis. We normally start with our observations in review, and the observations in review are for tonight, after which we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I've titled Different Years, Different Leaders, but Same Pile of Poop. So please, therefore, do not change the platform. Just spread the word that Straight Talk is live on social media. And I want to start on a somber note tonight, a sad note. I learned of the passing of lawyer and pastor Agatha James, a former co-worker and a very good friend of mine, who was a woman of God who never ceased offering praise on my behalf. It is said that a king, or make that a queen as well, gets no honor in his or her country. And Agatha epitomized She provides a great example of that proposition. As she would always reflect her days in the Royal Anguilla Police Force, where she rose to the rank of sergeant. And one of the very few individuals in St. Kitts and Nevis trained in maritime law. The Gather I knew, stood for what she believed in, and no one or no circumstance could keep her down. She fought many battles and never gave up. Even before her death, she was fighting a battle where the law was weaponized by a zealous Attorney General. But she never gave up. But now she's gone to her maker. And I want to extend condolences to her children in particular, and trust and hope she may rest in peace. I got a message from a friend and Straight Talk family as well, and I'm very cautious to raise it, the death of a former school principal, and I won't until I can reconfirm that it is factual. My Straight Talk family, our first observation nonetheless, and I don't know why my screen just keeps freezing. That's one of the difficulties we've had. But over the weeks we have spoken about the fair share. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister and the Premier of Nevis are both mum on the World Bank report, which should have been received by both parties. Mark Brantley literally brought down or helped to bring down his own team, Unity Government, in the name of fair share. He objected strongly to going to the World Bank to get an opinion. Remember, he said this, my Straight Talk family.
It boggles the mind why the Honorable Prime Minister, a trained accountant and highly astute financial manager, would continue peddling a notion that we need the World Bank to come in to do a study and to tell us how to calculate the monies received from CBI, subtract the expenses of the program, and divide the balance on a pro rata population basis between Bastia and Charlestown, as was agreed as a central plank of the Team Unity construct. I am certain when I say that any student at the Nevis Sixth Form College or CFBC could undertake that mathematical exercise and bring immediate resolution to a matter which has now festered for 7 long years.
And my Straight Talk family, isn't it strange that Prime Minister Drew and Premier Brantley silent on the report? Somebody probably don't like its content, but I believe I know what it is. But we'll hear some more about that, no doubt, my Straight Talk family. But our second observation, we move to the desalination plant in East Bastia. And from the outside looking in, it seems to be progressing expeditiously as the Soca engineer Conris is hell-bent on providing water no matter what. He's hell-bent on providing water no matter what the people of East Bastia say or think. The Water Services Department have laid or are laying the transmission lines. And the Canadian contractor is moving to plan no doubt, with the blessings of the soca engineer. This project presents a very good case study in political arrogance, for which I hope and pray that the people of East Basseterre will punish the slow student Jeffrey Hanley whenever that time comes. Yes, we need water 24/7, but it should not come at any cost. Street Talk said before that the Desal project is a good project, but the plant is situated in a bad location. Nestled between two bulk installations by Street Dog family. The latest we've seen is the installation of the holding tank, and it's even more troubling. Many of our residents in East Basseterre have raised the issue of water quality, but have been totally ignored by the slow student Jeffrey. Not one time has he considered the people who he currently misrepresents. He has not considered them worthy of some form of consultation. And while we do not blame the Canadian company that's engaged, we know that this project could have never started in any part of Canada without consultation with and the consent of the people who will be affected. Many of us in East Basseterre who will have to consume the water produced from that desalination plant are rightly nervous. Yet we will fear not what the arrogant soca engineer Conris or the slow student Jeffrey Hanley do. We will fear not what they do, because God is in the midst of everything and watching over all of us. And my Street Talk some time ago, about 2 weeks ago, I heard the story of some quality issues with bottled water brands in St. Kitts, and in fact, one particular brand over there in Nevis. I have heard today that the Bureau of Standards were called in and have found some anomalies with a particular unpopular brand of water, bottled water over there in Nevis. I myself use it. And when I heard about it some 2 weeks ago, I heard of the issues, I say, perhaps no wonder why it's so sweet. As we'll hear more about that issue and the urgent recall of bottled water brands in Nevis. One such is a very, very popular one associated with the springs. That's the most I'll say for tonight, my Street Dog family, until I get that confirmation. And my third observation, Street Talk, beg your pardon, has not heard anything from our leader, Ralph Gonzalez, Comrade Ralph, or the Vincentian leader, I should say, Comrade Ralph Gonzalez. Remember sometime he exposed the issue of the construction of the $22 million castle being constructed at Beacon Heights. I recall Ralph Gonzalez had this to say, my Street Dog family.
It is true that there is dwelling, which is being built by the governor, built for the governor, built by the central bank for the governor, where the price tag is wholly excessive and does not reflect a particular level of prudence. And that is a matter on which I was recently advised, and it's a matter on which I have engaged my colleagues, and it is a matter which I am hopeful would be resolved in a manner which is satisfactory for the people of the currency union and also very much the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, very much so the people of St. Kitts and Nevis as well, because we have not heard anything from our own leader, and no doubt the construction is still ongoing. But our fourth observation, my straight dog family, refers to another murder. After a lull in homicide, sadly there was another murder in St. Kitts Nevis over the last weekend, according to this report from Shira Flanders of ZIZ Television, who said this.
The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is investigating a fatal stabbing incident that occurred at the food court in Port Zante at approximately 12:30 a.m. on Saturday, May 31st, 2025. The victim, Jason Gilbert of Middle Island, sustained serious injuries and was transported to the Joseph and France General Hospital for medical treatment. Regrettably, Gilbert succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at approximately 7 a.m. A full investigation into the circumstances surrounding this incident is underway.
And we extend, my straight dog family, our condolences to the family of that stabbing victim. The death of Gilbert brings to 5 the number of murders for 2025. And these are my observations in review for tonight. And my straight dog family, I move right into my thesis, which I mentioned earlier. I've titled Different Years, Different Leaders, but the Same Pile of Poop. And there is a saying that echoes through the streets and whispers in conversations across St. Kitts and Nevis. The topic is the same. Different years, different leaders, but same pile of poop. Now, this may sound crude, and forgive me for that, but behind the humor lies the hard truth. Because since our independence in 1983, governments have come and governments have gone. faces at the top have changed, yet the scent of corruption, inefficiency, and broken promises lingers, stubborn and unchanged. And it is not just political fatigue that we are feeling. We are feeling a deep frustration. We are hearing a cry for accountability, transparency, also for leadership that truly serves the people and not just exercises power. And tonight, we are not here to trade blame or rehash old stories. We are here to confront a simple, urgent question. How? How do we finally clean up the mess? Can we just go back to a different year with a different leader, but the same pile of poop? Hell no. We need to identify leaders who are willing to pledge to do things differently. Many have asked me, for example, to come back, and I'm humbled by your requests. And every time I hear you, I'm minded to proceed to do the things you ask me to do, because I cannot run away. I never run away from public service. And my pledge would be to you to do twice as good if I ever come back. But let me tell you the truth. And I know I always get into trouble when I speak the truth. But the truth is, each time you ask me to come back, I say to myself, me? Come back to the same old pile of poop? But this is not about me. Not at all. It is about those leaders we elect for office. And I propose tonight that we have 2 years before the next elections. And I know that seems like a long time to tolerate this bunch of incompetents, this bunch of corrupt liars in cabinet. Should we do like what's happening in parts of Africa right now and overthrow them? Hell no. Should we be like Malcolm X and eliminate them using all means necessary? Hell no. Because we have ample time and resources as a people to put together the terms and conditions that would guarantee the kind of leadership the country needs in these difficult times. We are at the crossroads, I've said so many times, and we must make certain to get leaders to pledge that they will exercise the authority and carry out their duties without fear or favor, malice or ill will, and in the best interest of the people and the country. We must be able to find people left in our beautiful St. Kitts and Nevis with integrity, who will volunteer their time and expertise to document the terms and conditions to save our country for generations to come. Anybody with the capability can draft those terms and conditions. A retired judge, a non-partisan group of citizens and divisions who will take the country out of all this mess. Our leaders must publicly sign a pledge to serve our federation honestly and with such dignity and respect for law and order. Those who have an interest in contesting a seat must publicly declare their assets, and large accumulation of wealth must be justified also. And any false declaration must land them in jail? No, because they haven't taken office. But any false declaration they found while they're in office must land them in jail and their assets forfeited. How can we go back to the same old poop when it stinks? Well, you can go back, but I'm not going back to serve in this pile of poop. Looking back, it was Kennedy Simmons, under whose administration Port Sante was instigated, conceptualized, and the Southeast Peninsula Road was constructed. Many call it the road to nowhere, but that road has created great benefits for St. Kitts and Nevis. However, it was Billy Herbert who many opined was the real leader of the People's Action Movement. It is reliably rumored that Billy Herbert, wherever he is now, left behind bank accounts with over $100 million. Denzel Douglas is also reliably rumored to have bank accounts and properties valuing close to $100 million. Timothy Harris is reliably rumored as well that he has millions in bank accounts. And now we are hearing similar reliable rumors about Terrence Michael Drew. But will we ever know the truth about our leaders? Will we? Right now, we are heavily distracted by the recent sale of the Christophe Harbour marina and assets. But we have not even been told for how much it was sold. It's a big secret. But we are so gullible as a people that all we can think about is that it was bought by Safe Harbor and what will or will not happen with our struggling economy. There is talk about Warren Buffett's interest in these companies, but Straight Talk has no evidence to suggest that Warren Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway have investments in Safe Harbor LLC or Blackstone Infrastructure Partners. If so, so what? Bill Gates at some point in time, we were told, owned the Four Seasons Hotel in Nevis. What has Bill Gates done to Nevis? But how could we forget so easily that 20 years ago, when an investor came with what we now learn was an empty briefcase, and under the guise of investment, was allowed to rape millions of dollars belonging to we the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I recall attending a cocktail at the Marriott Hotel that announced the coming of Obage. And I vividly remember this man, not sure if it was somebody, I don't recall the name, so don't quote me. But he told a story about his boat trip from Nevis on his way to catch his return flight to the USA in St. Kitts. I recall he said he saw this pristine land on the Southeast Peninsula. And he got so excited. And he was told that he must see the Prime Minister. And lo and behold, on his way down, when he got to St. Kitts, he got the news that he could see Denzel Douglas. And he went on to say he was shocked that he got to see Denzel Douglas in his short pants and his flip-flop shoes. He was shocked that it was so easy to see a Prime Minister. It was not too long after an agreement was reached between Obage Fire Sky Limited and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in 2005. This agreement was amended in 2007 when the Southern American multi-millionaire arrived in his multi-million-dollar yacht and went about finding ways to raise capital for this development project. This senator committed to generating $17 billion for the benefit of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Nothing so far from the truth. The Douglas government, recall, acquired 852.35 acres of land, which is then sold to KHT for US $17 million. Douglas later pumped US $16 million from the SIDF into Christophe Harbour. And remember the foolish argument that Douglas always advanced back then, that the SIDF was not government funds. We must remember this foolish argument that Douglas always advanced about the SIDF.
The SIDF funds, the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation funds, are not government funds. These are funds that belong to a private foundation.
And that was his absurd view. This Christophe Harbour, beg your pardon, deal is so corrupt at so many levels. Who would believe that Douglas agreed, my Sweet Dog family, to give up the Kennedy-Simmons Highway to Christophe Harbour? Who would believe that, my Sweet Dog family? And we will always provide you the evidence. And the evidence, my Sweet Dog family, is on your screen. This is section 24, clause 24 from the agreement. Read the first paragraph. It reads, my Sweet Dog family, and I quote, "The government shall acquire by compulsory acquisition or otherwise title to the Dr. Kennedy Simmons Highway, the right of way and improvement thereon, and the related improved road reserved it in its entirety. At the reasonable request of the joint venture and after consultation with planning authorities, the government shall relocate all or portions of such highway with the resort in order to accommodate the development of the resort." But my Sweet Dog family, who does that road belong to? Isn't it the government? Why would an agreement state that the government will acquire the road? How can a government acquire its own road? When we read clause 24 of the agreement, we must ask ourselves, why would the Douglas Labour Party government acquire a road that it owns? We must also ask, what is the intention of Christophe Harbour? Is it to make the Southeast Peninsula a republic? These are pertinent questions. But read the second paragraph with me, my Sweet Dog family. Read the second paragraph with me. It says the joint venture may relocate. It's an option. Widen, improve, alter, raise, lower, landscape, bridge over, tunnel under, and maintain any roads within the resort in its sole discretion. So was Buddy Darby and Christophe Harbour planning to dig up the road? Ask yourself the question, my Sweet Dog family. But Terence Michael Drew cannot afford to be honest or transparent, else he would tell the country what is the current disposition of the Christophe Harbour Development Agreement, or as it is called, the St. Kitts Development Agreement / St. Kitts Peninsula Resort. He must tell the country what is the extent of the government's interest, or what the extent of the government interest in Christophe Harbour is. My Sweet Dog family, Christophe Harbour blocked Sandybank Bay. Remember this, it is still blocked as we speak. And based on clause 24, paragraph 2, which I just read, and I'll put it back on your screens, it suggests we may soon not be able to go to Majors Bay or Reggae Beach. We may not be able to catch the Sea Bridge or the water taxis. Will the public have access if this agreement is executed to its letter? These are questions that we must have answered, my Sweet Dog family. These are serious questions. This is the agreement, my Sweet Dog family. This is the agreement. It's there on your screens. And thanks, my Sweet Dog family. Thanks to Denzel Douglas and his crew, including Gada, I call him, who gave Christophe Harbour 852.3 acres of land for US $17 million, then turned around and lent Buddy Darby and Christophe Harbour US $60 million. And according to Terrence Drew, my Straight Talk family, he only got back 2.5 EC, $2.5 million EC. Yes, my Straight Talk family, that's all he got back after lending them 16 million. Hear that, $16 million, my Straight Talk family. Terrence Michael July only clawed back $2.5 million. Do you believe me, my Straight Talk family? Please do. I always bring you the facts. And these are the facts that Drew told us just sometime last week. He said this, my Straight Talk family.
Specifically, the sale has facilitated the payment of EC $4.5 million to Social Security Board, EC $2.4 million to Skelec, EC $5.7 million to the Sugar Industry Diversification Fund, or SIDF, EC $2.8 million to the National Bank Trust, and EC $2.7 million directly to the National Bank. Additionally, EC $3 million has been paid toward outstanding property tax arrears, and EC $3.6 million in stamp duties. These were debts left lingering for many years. With these payments, we have brought closure and clarity.
Imagine, my Straight Dog family, the former, and I said 2.5, but in fact it's $2.7 million. He crawled back EC dollars from a $25 million loan. That's with accumulated interest. But the former Team Unity administration, led by Timothy Harris, sought to establish rightful ownership and enforce financial accountability over 433 acres of prime land tied to the Christophe Harbour project. And that case was not just about acres. It was about accountability. It was about justice. It was about whether the people of this country would be repaid what was owed to them. Whether a developer who borrowed and defaulted would be allowed to walk away while the people bore the costs. The bank asserted its claim to the land as security for unpaid debts and sought the court's permission to sell the property. Not a fire sale, I must repeat, or not at fire sale prices, but at a just and fair upset price to recover what rightly belonged to the bank and by extension the people. National Bank has no problem selling poor people's property. None at all, especially under this current administration or leadership at the bank. You can see the advertisements. Poor people's property all over the country are being sold by National Bank. My Straight Dog family. And I can tell you, men like Comrade Earl Clark, may he rest in eternal peace, must have turned in his grave to see how management of the bank and policies have changed, my Straight Dog family.
The National Bank has been assisting in the development of our country. It's a local bank owned by ordinary people, assisted in the development of the country by lending us money so that we can enjoy a better standard of living, the housing projects.
I see men like Earl Clark, may his soul rest in peace, would have turned his grave when he heard what's going on right now.
The National Bank has been assisting in the development of our country. It's a local bank owned by ordinary people, assisted in the development of the country by lending us money so that we can enjoy a better standard of living, the housing projects.
But that was then, my Straight Talk family. Policies have changed. Management of the bank have changed. And all orchestrated by a man called Terence Crosman, the vice chairman and managing director of the St. Kitts, Nevis and Anguilla National Bank, who seemed to have charted a new course, my Straight Talk family, in all of this. He has charted, I must say, a new course. And we ask the question, my Straight Talk family, what is Crosman's relationship with Buddy Darby, if any? Was Crosman like a bagman for Douglas when the US $16 million SIDF loan was delivered? Or was Crosman just a CEO doing his job? But now Crosman, Terence Crosman, is now the vice chairman and managing director of the St. Kitts, Nevis and Anguilla National Bank. Can he tell us, therefore, what has happened to the case that was before the court? Why was it buried only since you assumed your current office, Terence Crosman? Why has the bank failed to continue the fight for those 433 acres of land and the $125 million owed, or the $65 million owed for the bank? It's 125 combined with SIDF and the bank. Those lands were pledged as collateral. They were tied to a loan. It was not a gift. It was not a grant. And certainly it is not an investment. What we have, though, my Straight Talk family, it seems, is a new Labour Party under Terence Michael July that has surrendered our independence from our colonial masters that our first national hero and Labour leader Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw fought for over his entire political career. The surrender began in 2005. It's interesting to note, under another Labour leader, Denzel Llewellyn Douglas, the godson of Bradshaw, who signed the master agreement for the Christophe Harbour development. Now we have a former member of the Douglas cabinet wanting to send our people, believe it or not, wanting to send our people back to picking salt on the estate once owned by the great-great-grandfather of Garth Lucifer Wilkin, my Straight Talk family. How could we entertain that, my Straight Talk family? Do we want this?
Government should try its very best to explore the possibility of recovering salt harvesting from the Great Salt Pond, as was done in the past. And if this is possible, it could set up a separate niche industry for our people who, on an organized basis, would harvest and sell the exotic salt to yachters and other visitors and to the local market as well.
Do you believe that, my Straight Talk family? This man wants to send our people back to Salt Pond to pick salt? It was very disappointing to learn that Terence Michael Jew wants to send our people back to the plantation to pick peppers, my Straight Talk family.
Our agricultural sector is also undergoing a transformation as we seek to reduce our dependency on imports and empower our local farmers. In this regard, we have partnered with Tabasco to provide our farmers with an unprecedented opportunity to cultivate high-quality peppers for export. Your government has secured the necessary equipment and location to support this initiative, ensuring that our farmers can benefit from this lucrative global market.
Imagine, my Straight Dog family, Terence Michael July wants our people back to the plantation to pick peppers. And now, Gada wants to send our people back to Salpon Estate to pick salt.
Government should try its very best to explore the possibility of recovering salt harvesting from the Great Salt Pond, as was done in the past. And if this is possible, it could set up a separate niche industry for our people who, on an organized basis, would harvest and sell the exotic salt to yachters and other visitors and to the local market as well.
Go back to pick salt. You know what it is and how difficult it is to pick salt. But this also brings back sad memories of La Valley, my Straight Dog family. This brings back, as I said, the sad memories of La Valley. Yes, my Straight Dog family.
At 8:30 this morning, I left the Federation and traveled to Barbados. I was invited to do so by well-known Barbadian developer and investor and businessman, Sir Charles Williams. He invited me to tour a property that is being developed by himself, his company, and one who is called Gerard Barton, who is a world-renowned golf course resort developer, second to none in the entire world. They are doing a development in Barbados known as the Apes Hill Golf Resort Development. When I looked at the spectacular views that presented themselves at Apes Hill Golf Resort Development, it reminded me so vividly of our own vision for the Whitegate development area, where smack in the middle of that development, we have the La Valley Golf Course development.
And ask yourselves, my Straight Dog family, where is Gerard Barton and what changed his mind?
I believe that Mr. Gerard Barton, as I said, who is internationally well-known, world-famous golf course resort developer, I'm sure that he would want to say a few words at this time. Mr. Barton.
Mr. Prime Minister, I wish my mother and my daddy could have heard that introduction. You know, my daddy would appreciate it, and God bless it, my mother would have believed it. This is my first time in St. Kitts. I've never been here. I've heard so much about it. But the last 4 years, we've been developing a very high-end, I think, something we're very proud of in Barbados. But while there, I've been hearing about how good St. Kitts is and how it has so much opportunity, has such a business-friendly government, and it was on the rise. And so we naturally, Sir Charles and I, wanted to meet the Prime Minister, and he was very honored when we accepted our invitation to come down and look what we've done. And I think that we're in the business by the fruits you shall know them. You look at what we do and you see who we are, because we pour our passion and our dreams into our work. Now, I'm anxious to look at St. Kitts, and I will be very excited about looking at your country, because I hear so many wonderful things about it.
And where, we ask, is Gerard Barton? And why he changed his mind? And where's the golf course at La Valley? The same former minister who wants our people to go to Salt Pan Estate to pick salt has to date not accounted for over $50 million spent on the golf course, my Straight Talk family. And he came to us and said, what? You know what he said?
Apparently, he wants me to explain to the nation why I, as a minister, signed an agreement. Well, it seems as though he wants me to explain why I signed. I'm told that he said he's not accusing anybody of bubble, but that he was just asking, where's the money? That's what I'm told, right? And I don't remember. But let me say what I have to say. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
On my Straight Talk family, there comes a time when silence becomes betrayal. And not just betrayal of duty, but betrayal of the very people to whom a nation belongs. And that time, my Straight Talk family, is now. Today we are faced with a troubling reality. A country where corruption wears a suit, where power hides behind technicalities, and where accountability is buried under convenience. The recent sale of the marina assets, or the marina and its assets at Christophe Harbour to Safe Harbour Marinas LLC, has raised more questions than answers. We don't know the value of the deal. We don't know what the people of St. Kitts and Nevis received in return. And worse, it appears that our Prime Minister either cannot or will not tell us the truth. That is unacceptable. Even more troubling is the role that the SIDF played and the role that our very own National Bank is now playing, both stewards of our national assets. The bank, under the direction of Vice Chair and Managing Director Mr. Terence Crosman, continues to walk a double path. On one side, poor citizens who fall behind on their mortgages lose their homes. On the other, Christophe Harbour defaults on multi-million-dollar loans and walks away without paying 1 cent. That, my friends, is not governance. That is a racket. Let's call it what it is. Two standards of justice, two sets of rules, one for the rich and one for the rest of us. And let us not forget, Mr. Crosman was CEO of the SIDF when it issued a loan to Christophe Harbour that was never repaid. Today, Terence Crosman is at the helm of the National Bank, silent in a court case involving 453 acres of land used as collateral for yet another unpaid loan. So I ask, who is charting this course? Is Mr. Crosman quietly moving the cheese behind closed doors? Or is it the Prime Minister who leads a government that owns 51% of the National Bank and yet claims to know nothing? Either way, the outcome is the same. The people are left in the dark, while a privileged few play monopoly with the nation's wealth. Let us be clear. This is not their cheese to move. It's the people's cheese. It's our land. It is our money. It's our future. We must demand an audit. We must demand answers. We must demand that the same laws that govern the poor apply to the rich and powerful. Because if there is to be a sustainable future for this federation, it must be built on truth, transparency, and trust, not backroom deals, not in silence and selective justice. No. We stand at the crossroads, I say, not of party politics, but of national direction. For too long, we've seen corruption thrive at every level, quietly undermining the dreams of our people. And every few years, we are told that change has come, only to discover that all we have done is to switch conductors on the same runaway train. This must end. We do not need new faces playing the same old game. We need a new vision, a meaningful change, a new track. One that leads to a sustainable, just and independent island state. Our leaders must do more than ask for our votes. They must declare their values, and more importantly, they must declare their intentions for this country. What are they building? What legacy do they wish to leave behind? We must demand this clarity, not as a favor, but as a right. It is time for leadership that is transparent, accountable, and driven not by ego or party loyalty, but by love for our land and our people. It is time to stop changing conductors and start changing the direction of the train. Else, we will continue to have different years, different leaders, and the same pile of poop. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines now and entertain your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. For those of you who will call and I'll open the lines momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. And my Straight Dog family, let's in the process try or strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines and say good night to our first caller. Calling you live. Hello, caller. Yes, Bible man. Good night.
Good night, and how are you, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Now, wait a while, Mr. Patrick here. I really look at you have God, boy. Now, hear the word of God in Psalms. I have Psalm 89. But I look at I have to really left it for another day, another time. Now, in Psalm 41:6,
God is our refuge.
Psalm 41. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. Now, Psalms 107. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord for his good.
His mercies endureth forever.
For his mercy endureth forever.
Yes.
It said, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, who had redeemed us from the hands of the enemy. Mr. Patches, it is so wonderful at Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength in the time of trouble.
Yes.
Now the situation is that God is going to deliver us in all our undertaking. God is going to deal with us. And the last passage scripture I am going to give you, Psalm 37. Here we say here, Patrick.
Fret not thyself.
Because of evildoers.
Yes.
Neither be envious against the workers of iniquity.
Yes.
For Patrick, for the soul shall cut down like a grass,
yes,
and withered away.
Yes.
Patrick, you know how to wall your head.
Yes, my brother.
Now, the situation is that I'm going to tell you. Now, Elias, when I can give a part of scripture that a lot of people don't really understand. In Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7, whatsoever man soweth,
that shall he reap.
Yeah, you see what you see in life, a lot of things happen, Mr. Baptist. I am going to finish it right now here.
Please.
In life, a lot of things happen. When you get up a morning, you're either sowing bad seed or good seed. And when it comes, it germinates. And when you reach around and you didn't expect it, it throw you off of your foot. And then you make a lot of noise, and then people do me this and people no. And your own handwriting come back round and hit you hard. So, Mr. Patches, you continue to do what you have to do. And leave man to themselves. Because one of these days, they are going to find out. And I am so sorry I couldn't find a Bible drop down and I couldn't really sing. So see you, Mr. Patches.
Thank you very much.
Have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant
night. May the good Lord bless you and keep you. So because a lot of people believe themselves as the rule of the whole universe.
Okay, thanks.
And a lot of people believe in the rule of their own self.
Yes, maybe.
And they don't believe that there is a God in heaven who rule all.
That is
so. You take care, Mr. Patrick. See you, bye.
Yes, have a good night as well, my dear brother. And we go straight back to the lines and thank this caller for holding caller your live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my dear.
The quotation: a selfish and empty of vision and solution leadership.
Empty what you said? Empty.
A selfish and empty of vision and solution leadership.
Vision.
And solution leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Prefer its own political and personal benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And interests instead of its people.
Okay, we for that prefers its own personal
and prefers its own political and personal benefits.
Political and personal benefits, okay.
And interest instead of its people.
Instead of its people. Okay.
I repeat, a selfish and empty of vision and solution leadership prefer its own political and personal benefits and interest instead of its people. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Have yourself a great evening as well. And we go straight back to the lines and thank this caller for holding caller your live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Strater.
Hello, abracadabra.
Abracadabra, yes, Mr. Strater. How are you?
I am peaceful.
Ditto,
yes. Yes, ditto.
How are you? How are you?
Wonderful, my brother. I'm peaceful. Yourself?
Man, you're sounding real good tonight. I just want to thank you for what you have done. You really. I was listening to DJ Marisha yesterday, because I said, that, and all he was doing it was some 3 clips of you, and then to hear DJ Marisha calling your brother Patches. I say, oh, you really turn around, So you see what's going on, that people calling him and telling him what they say on your program, and he play you back, straightening out your whole case. So I don't have to worry about what people say about you're good. You don't bring nothing to us unless you confirm that this thing is good. Let me just say good night to my wonderful people. Oh, I Zulu and the boys there at the garage. How are you guys tonight, man? It was good to see you guys on Botis. I just want to wish you guys the best, my brother Alvin and my lovely niece in St. Louis. Texas Queen, how are you? Brother Culture, we long to hear your voice. And you just do what you got to do. You know, all is well. My straight up, I don't know what's going on in St. Kitts. DJ Mawisha said that the hospital is like a hospital. He say he don't feel no way, but he has to say what he has to say. And that's why he and Dr. July Pepperseed, tobacco pepperseed fall out because of what he see, and he just can't sit still and see these things going on. He said that the hospital leaks so bad that you have to move patients, sleep back and let the water comes in. I couldn't believe what I'm hearing, but he was saying it, you know. So he says, when you try to talk the truth, this is what does happen. But my father say truth have fire to its tail. So that's what happened. That the truth has fire to its tail. That when the fire light, it's trouble.
You better believe.
So I just want to thank you because you really are doing a good job and you light the fire. And he take it up and running with it to say, well, what you did from what you did and what you said. So he's doing a good job also. But it just goes to show you, my brother, that people attack about you and people, even though they're not calling in and not emailing you, you are doing a good job. So I just want to wish you the best and take care of yourself. Just do what you are doing because, did Casilda, did you find out that Casilda get the water bucket?
No, she told me, she called me today, she said she didn't get the water bucket, which is so sad.
Oh,
yes,
Lord. But you mean that he can't say it on the ear and he said, look, I'm going to call some people, I'm going to do what I got to do for you.
But that, no water bucket. I won't change she and she labor, I can tell you that.
Oh, you're right.
I get the bucket, but I'm moving. She said,
yeah,
right?
Yes, the people don't change. No care what. And that's why you give them pepper in the rice and whatever in the soup, you know. They don't feel no way. Because they vote for this man, that this man going to do, and know, oh, this was something DJ Mawisha said. He said that labor support really are dwindled from Dr. July Pepperseed, no. He said, look, if things are going in our own good, so I don't know. But Mr. Shetak, I thank you so much. This is the last thing I'm going to say. When they arrested that guy for killing the doctor, did he unbail or he's still in prison?
I'll have to check that.
I want you to check it because I didn't hear he come like they said they put bail or what, I don't know. But that's your homework for tonight. So check it for me and thank you so much that Casilda called you. So Casilda, good night, man. Take care. Mr. Shetak, I'll see you when I see you. Be good, take care. Abracadabra.
Yes, my brother. Yes, my brother. Abracadabra. It's now 20 past the 9 o'clock hour. You may have just joined me, my Straight Dog family. And if you just did, we are discussing our thesis for tonight, which I've titled Different Days, Different Leaders, but Same Pile of Poop. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, good night, Brother Patches. Thank you.
Good night, sir.
My name is Winston Welcome, and I'm going to do it as professional as I can. Now, question number one, in respect to the Christophe Harbour issue. Now, if you could do a eagle eyes over the whole piece of that land going over to the end, nowhere. Now, from where that 400 square feet of land begin, I know where the salt pan is, because I worked over there.
I can't tell that. You have to look at the map and take it out. I really can't tell you that. But right, they have some 2,500 acres of land, which is quite a portion of land over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
but the 453 acres was, or 33 acres was around the around the Reggae Beach area, close to the Park Hyatt, you know. But in terms of weight spans, I really not in a position to tell you.
Okay. Now, let's dissect the deal that we heard so far. I know there are some speculation, if I may say. I'm not looking at the deal and the contract, so to speak, but I stand for correction if I make any mistake. Now, the thing is, the company or the persons who bought the piece of land, which is said to be Buddy Darby. Now, in respect to the deal that went on, does Buddy Darby really own that 25 acres in the sense that he own it? Like, a deal only can be complete if you pay off for what the demand was. So, moving forward, if that didn't happen, how could the Treasury, because the Treasury has to be involved, to give a final payment and deem that proper and entitled to the new owner? And if that didn't happen, how could that entity, which is only assumed to go and sell chunks of it or develop chunks of it and sell it to another company? If I am incorrect about that, correct me somewhere along the way.
My brother, understand this, okay? The parcel of land owned by, or the parcels of land owned by Christophe Harbour, more than half of the land was bought from private people.
I am aware of that.
Then you shouldn't be saying what you're saying. The only land that the government acquired, I think it was 852 point something, 0.35 acres of land, and then sold it to Buddy Darby. So that made up the 2,500. So if you take away 835 point whatever it is, or 832.35 from 2,500, the other balance he bought from private enterprise or private people. Okay?
And that,
so the Treasury was not involved in this at all. The Treasury, he acquired some land, so just don't get tied up in that. Just don't get tied up in that. But what is the point you're trying to make, though? It's different deals, different leaders, and the same pile of poop. What is your contribution in that context?
The contribution in that is
quickly
the borrowing of the money from national banks to finance Buddy Darby, which he used the Chili Chili Bam Bam effect. You know Chili Chili Bam Bam.
They borrowed the money to construct the marina from the bank.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And the marina being sold, but what the government did in respect to the eminent domain, because the government got that land from the private owners in respect of the borrowing from the bank to fulfill that money. So why, if the government was owed for such, they allow Buddy Darby to sell the marina to somebody else? Am I mixing up there?
Sort of, but I thank you. I understand you, but you're not quite clear. Yeah, but thanks for your contribution. Just to let our listeners know that the National Bank was owed for the loan that Christophe Harbour borrowed to construct the marina, which they have not paid back. The former administration under Timothy Harris tried to claw back some, let me take that back. The bank under Harris tried to claw back some 433 acres because the bank is a separate entity to the government. Government, yes, has 51% shares in the bank. Yes, you're right. If they sold the marina, then the bank should be allowed to deduct what money is owed to them. We don't know how much the marina was sold for. This is the danger in the silence of Terence Michael Juba. Let's go back to the lines and say, caller, thank you for holding your line. Hello, caller.
Yes, good night, Patrice.
Good night, sir.
How are you, man?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Nice to have I'm fine. Nice to have a conversation with you again. Another day, another Monday. Give God thanks. I call you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and all peace. Patrice, I glad you explained to the public, those internet listeners, that the land was not the government's land before. But on the whole token, I heard Mr. Ju say that there's a closure and there's a clarity in the end of the deal. So I guess the closure, it is done. I guess the clarity, it can be explained more to the people, the nature of the sale, the deal, which the people of St. Kitts deserve to know, the full transaction of the deal. And I think they do that respect from the government so that it wouldn't be so much dark cloud over people's minds and so many different opinions. Bring it to the people. Bring the clarity to the people so we could understand, because I myself does not understand it. I'm questioning it myself. Yes, I agree the closure, but I want to understand the clarity of it. That you're hiding and you are not bringing. Well, you're having a press conference tomorrow, and I hope he can deliver some of that clarity to the people. In my extended conversation, that deal happened under the former government, Douglas. I heard Mr. Ascafan with a conversation on YouTube, and his sentiments, it was a very terrible deal under Douglas administration. Mr. Patrice, you see, that's why I use the word corruption in the government, corrupted people, because Mr. Ascafan was the Minister of Tourism when all that transaction took place. So why are he trying to isolate himself and just include the Prime Minister, Douglas, for that terrible mistake that he's saying that the government has made? He is part of the mistake. He was Minister of Tourism. He was looking at cut. The cut did not offer to him. So now we're going to break it down to a terrible mistake. People need to check themselves, man. They are just messing up the country, selling out the people, destroying the quality of the country. Think it's going to be in a serious situation one of these days by these corrupted leaders selling us out. We are not profiting nothing from it. And it's a shame. And everybody wants to point their finger, they're innocent. It's not me. It's the Prime Minister Douglas in those days. Make a terrible. Ascafan responsible also. And he can talk to me about that because I know that. And all they was looking for is deal. And then you want to put it on someone back. And someone back was not responsible for tourism. We have to stop this corrupted leadership, Mr. Patrick. Your government, Patrice, has 7 years to do some correction. You said they make some partial, whatever, right? But your government should have been more aggressive and dealing with these people. You see? So we're pointing fingers. And all of us are partiality playing with that company, ripping out the country. We are responsible, Mr. Patrick. Your government is responsible for all that errors too. I'm not saying it in a walk in my mouth. In reality, because I'm a man, I think, and I speak my mind.
Okay.
When I see things is wrong, I'm not making a distinction. I'm involved in all you inside the corruption and the mistake for the country that the country is facing today. You all are responsible for that, we can't put back in the recycled Prime Minister. Timothy don't need to be back in the country. to be running the country. People don't need to be baffled and fooled by him. Right now, he's behaving like a wild heart.
Okay.
Like he's so innocent.
Okay,
Thank you, Patrice.
Okay, my brother. I've
Okay.
heard you loud and clear. And that's the views of my brother from the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I understand you. I always want to tell you it's not about me, but I want to say that it all started under Douglas, and you're right that Asafan was a member of the cabinet. I don't think he was a minister of tourism, though. It was Ricky Skerritt at the time. He was perhaps minister of national security because he's stripped up that portfolio by Douglas some time ago, before that. But this message reads, the House of Assembly has been reduced to a mockery and a laughing stock these days. The cabinet ministers, particularly some women, are dressing any old how. The last house, one wearing been showing all her boobs. Looks so disgusting and insightful. Instead of the speaker concentrating on the dress code of parliamentarians wearing in the house, she fully focused on Dr. Harris. Time trying to shut him up from speaking with her foulness. I want to lecture Harris on the rules of the house. Harris in the house for years and has vast knowledge and experience. She just come with no experience and with a bad and nasty behavior she gathered from Curtis Martin, a former disgraced speaker whom she honored and cherished. You're out of your place, Madam Speaker. Talking about Harris is disrespecting by talking over you. Go and find respect for yourself and get off Harris's back and let him do his job for us in the House. We voted for him. Who voted for you? Reads that email. And this other email reads, good night, Patches. Both Gerald Barton of Landmark and Sir Charles Williams from Barbados are now deceased. Their flagship property in Barbados, Apes Hill Golf Resort, was a complete failure there, borrowing tens upon tens of millions from the social security entity in Barbados and refusing to pay the loans. Those loans were only repaid after the then bankrupt Apes Hill Golf Resort project was bought out and bailed out by a Canadian or American investor in 2019. The government of Barbados made sure the loans were repaid in full, including interest from the sale of the project to the new Apes Hill investor from Canada or America. The La Valley project here was no different than the Christophe Harbour. It was just an elaborate scam to steal real estate and government money from our people. I hope you enjoy the balance of your evening, Patches. Reads this email. I want to go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello,
yes, good evening, Patches, man. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, good evening to you and the listeners home and abroad. And I'm going to get straight to it. After taking in all this information about that Christophe Harbour sale, or the marina sale, and all I can tell and all I can, conclude from all of this corruption is that the St. Kitts and Nevis people own that whole property over there, including that marina. When you follow the history behind this entity, these people came in with nothing. They used our money out of the SIDF fund and took loans from our banks and put money to bail these people out. And the Prime Minister wants to come now and trying to deceive the people and distract the people by some figures of bills that was owed to these companies like Skelec. We want to know what the marina was sold for so we could take it from there. When he comes out tomorrow, he's still not gonna answer that question. Anybody who's listening out here tonight, if they want to come forward with a bet, $100 or better at least,
The Prime Minister won't answer that question tomorrow. He's going to slide wine around it. St. Kitts and Nevis people got to wake up. Based on your observation and your thesis for the night, the cycle continues. The status quo stays. All of the politicians is coming in these offices and taking the helm of our country, but they not only selling out the place, they are actually giving away St. Kitts and Nevis land. All of those persons in St. Kitts and Nevis who have a dream about putting a bridge between them two islands, they could kiss that dream goodbye. Because if the peninsula of St. Kitts is sold out, the government will have a hard time erecting a bridge on that St. Kitts side especially. Patrice, you heard what you said tonight. Even the waterways between Nevis and St. Kitts, they're going to try to control it. So that means these people are going to control the commerce between St. Kitts and Nevis. Anybody who wants to know where my vote going next election, I'm voting out the status quo, or I'm boycotting the election. Somebody got to rise up in St. Kitts and Nevis and lead these people to the promised land. All of the politicians in them have sold out St. Kitts and Nevis. They don't have no loyalty and they don't have no allegiance to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that's where the Bryant Clause is appealing to the Bryant Clause. The Bryant Clause is an appeal for that Bryant Clause to be removed. That soft-spoken guy to be coming in the radio patches, I know he's going to hear me tonight. And I want him to come on behind me and answer this question here. Based on what the information we're getting out of all these social media posts and everything. These politicians, they don't want to come with the transparency. They don't want to come with it. It took 40, 41, 42 years to expose all of these players. These people have committed treason to St. Kitts and Nevis, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. They have. They are not kings and queens. From Douglas probably all the way down. We are praising up this man called Badger, and none of them is following in his man lead. They are not.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like they're even interested in selling the land. They're just giving it away. If St. Kitts and Nevis people do not rise up right now, the oligarchs is going to control the place. It's already happening already. It's just a matter of minutes before St. Kitts and Nevis is like Haiti. Man, I'm sorry to say this tonight, but all those gangsters in St. Kitts and Nevis, they're really actually killing the wrong people. St. Kitts and Nevis is in a mess, and somebody got to clean it up. All of these politicians, the recyclables, the poop is stink. They're all shitting on the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. This stuff got to stop, man.
Okay, my brother.
The people got the power. The people got the power in their hand, and they've got to go in the streets. All of those labor supporters, they got to break their own party firstly, and then the rest of the citizens got to unite and break the system. I wish St. Kitts and Nevis the best, man.
Okay, thanks
but
a lot.
God bless my father and my mother for bringing me out of that mess.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man. You guys have a good night.
Thank you, my brother. I can hear your passion. And it's about the leaders that we elect for office. And I proposed earlier that we have 2 years before the next election is constitutionally due. And I know that it seems like a long time to tolerate this bunch of incompetence, this bunch of corrupt liars in the cabinet. And I listened to you just now, and I asked the question earlier. Should we do like what's happening in parts of Africa and overthrow them? Hear me. Hell no. I also asked the question. Should we like Malcolm X and eliminate them using all means necessary. Listen me out. I say, hell no. We have ample time and resources as a people to put together the terms and conditions that would guarantee the kind of leadership the country needs in these difficult times. We are at a crossroads, and we must make certain to get leaders to pledge that they will exercise their authority and carry out their duties without fear of favor, malice, or ill will, and in the best interests of the people of the country. We must be able to find people left in our beautiful St. Kitts and Nevis with integrity, who will volunteer their time and expertise to document the terms and conditions to save our country for generations to come. Anybody with capability can draft those terms and conditions. And those who have an interest in contesting a seat must publicly declare their assets and large accumulation of wealth must be justified once declared. And any false declarations must land them in jail and their assets be forfeited. Let's go back to the lines. Call you live.
Greetings, Mr. Patches. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Greetings to you. What about yourself?
I'm very good. Continue listening to this resourceful topic you bring to the public to educate our people. Whenever conflict arises between material and spiritual values, the conscience plays an important role. Anyone who suffers from a guilty conscience is never free from his problem until he makes peace with his conscience.
True.
Mr. Patches, the Bible man, make a very good input. He on your program from since I think maybe in the inception of your program, you know. So, and he's still doing a consistent job. That's very good. And the lady with her quotations, she always blend her quotation with the topic. She's a genius. She's very good. Mr. Patches, when I listen, you put out the facts tonight. How that caller before could still continue talking about remove 113 from the Constitution. He missing a point, Mr. Patches. And when we have investors coming to our country and in repaying back what they do to repay back, it's like, as you said in one of your outline reasoning, we surrendering our independence. We have to remember we are an independent country, you know. And whatever we do, it hurts us or it makes us feel good. So everything is about management. Mr. Patrick, I cannot understand if a bank has a dealing with a business and there is a CEO there, and an incoming CEO meet that reason going on, there shouldn't be no change, because the executive at the bank control the business of the bank, not no one individual. So these things are treasonous, so to speak. And you ask some very important, pertinent question, because you see, the ordinary people who bank a national bank, they want interest on their money. So it's good if the bank accumulate what belongs to it. So it could help put more interest on ordinary people money too, because such as the returns are the interest that beyond money. You need to tap up. And it will be very interested to see the National Bank stick to what it should stick to. And you see, when government linger with promises, you don't get the country nowhere. You don't get us nowhere. You see, Mr. Patches, when I was much smaller, person said our first national hero said, person coming back with all kind of qualification, but no CS, no common sense. And you don't see Donald Trump using the same word. It's about education and common sense. And when we start to make government feel so difficult to govern, is when we are not putting policies to uplift the people. Mr. Patches, you continue to be good. And you see, one more thing, Mr. Patches. I do not just get up and say, all leaders corrupt. We deal with people individually because that's how all of us face our judgments. You know? The governments, one the caller saying, the unity government should have done more. When you have certain agreement in place, it must take time. If the unity government did there 15 or 20 years, I could have pointed my finger at them. But to see that they did, with the bank did what it did under unity government, that was good for the country.
Of course.
So I don't understand sometimes we try to brand everything in one basket. We can't do that. Mr. Patrick, you continue to be strong and stay focused, stay healthy. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you as well, my brother. Always like to listen to you. Recently, I came across a post from one Thelma Phillip Brown. Reads this email, where she quite rightly stated that none of these leaders can acclaim the words of Limor. Before God and man, my hands are clean. Sound words, Lady Thelma. Whatever one might say about Limor's imperfections, the truth is he left a legacy of honesty, transparency, and selflessness for future Labour leaders to follow. But they have outright ignored. No wonder his own Labour Party leader that succeeded him treated him with utter disrespect, humiliation, and negligence. When some past staunch Labour supporters like Val Morris, Fitzroy Bryant, Willie Doe, and Probin Innes got vast acreage of government lands to build their houses, Limor claimed he wanted no government land and preferred to purchase his land from a private citizen, one Mrs. Bartley. Limor knew how easily one could say that all these party supporters who got land did not pay the full amount for their lands, or they got it free. And he did not want his name to be tainted with any semblance of corruption, and can therefore proclaim that before God and man his hands are clean. Dr. July, you and your avaricious, greedy cabinet should do likewise, because you and your cabinet are so entrenched, embedded, and stigmatized systematically in corruption. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding call live. Hello, caller.
Yes, your greetings, my brother Patrick. How are you doing tonight?
I am peaceful. That sounds like the Rascalongi.
Yes, Rascalongi. I mean, your thesis is right on point. And before I go any further, I'd just like to greet everybody listening locally and those listening in the diaspora. You know what Granny said? We are off course. Granny said we are off course. We got to get back on course. And the only way to get back on course, as I keep telling you, we have to repent and atone for our sins. Because all you're talking about is sins and all night, you know. From administration to administration, and you put it in, you synchronize it. It's just a pile of poop. You see? So what I'm saying to you now, my brother, as I keep saying, we people got to get realistic. You know? And Granny said, of course, we got to get back on course. Granny said, we got to love one another, respect one another. But Granny said, we want self-determination, self-respect, self-esteem. You understand? We have to take control of our affairs. Now, look at this. All these development that you're talking about, the one that I know, Christophe Harbour, we could do that ourselves, brother. We don't need an investor to come in here to do that. And it's the same concept, right, that is taking place in the Sahel states, where they had to put these colonialists out. What is taking place in our federation is an extension of colonial exploitation. So we're taking a page out of the Sahel states. We have to take control of our resources and our country, because Granny said we are, of course. So we are saying to our people that we have a blueprint, we have a model. What is happening in the Sahel states is the model that we needed here right now. That is the model for our solution. You see? And anybody who don't want to follow that model is against us, because the model has proven itself. You know, here we have a brother Abraham Traore, who is 37 years old, who took power, doing what is supposed to be done for our people. And the imperialists and colonizers want to take him out. Just like how they did Gaddafi. So we have the solution to this problem. You understand? So all I'm saying to our people, you're saying that we don't want to do it like how they do it. So I'm bringing a solution to the fore. Atone for our sins, right? Resolve our contradictions. And we want to know how we're going to get back all these money. You understand? We could suss out that amongst ourselves. So if we don't want to do that, anybody who don't want to do that, then they're against us. Let me just read this for you, my brethren. A mega meeting of Africa First and AES, USA, in support of Abraham Traore, AES and Africa, taking place on June 15, 2025. This is for the brothers and sisters in the metropolitan area in New York. Okay. You understand? From 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. is on the 15th of this month. The Harlem State Office Building, the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building, address 163 West 125th Street, New York, New York. Okay. So that is taking place. And we're having one here too. You understand? The Movement for National Unity and the African Consciousness Movement, we are hosting these meetings because we have direct link now with Burkina Faso and the Sahel states. Okay. So we are chanting a course forward to liberate our people through African liberation. Okay. So we have the solution, my brother. So all I want to say to our people, we have the solution. Get on board with the movement of national unity, because the solution to this pollution, as what Granny said, is through African liberation with the model from the Sahel state. So give thanks, my brother, and have a good night.
Thanks as well. Thanks for your contribution. This message reads, it started with the Auberge deal in 2005 to 2006 and continued downhill from there. But when government owned the 852 plus acres which it sold to KHT Christophe Harbour for US $70 million and then paid over $27 million to gold gas companies, Carib and Betts, and from there it was good money after bad and worse deals after bad deals. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patches, good night. Good night, Patches.
Good night, sir.
This is Mr. Politics here.
How is Mr. Politics?
Oh, Patches, good man, good. And first, I always want to thank God for life. And thank God for this lovely federation of Think It Nevis, a blessed country. And a country, I believe that where I think that the people could do better and think better with politics or whatsoever. But I just want to tell the New Yorker, the caller from Nevis, with a call it overseas caller, that it ain't the politician them, it's the people. Is the people go out and vote every 5 years when the election due. Is the people go out and vote, is not the politician them. But corrupt this and corrupt that. If you know that a politician corrupt, you're going out there go vote for him. If you know that a politician on destroy land and destroy this and destroy that, you're going out there go vote for him. It's not the politician, it's the people. So he come in saying the politician, them, this. You could change this government to the Come get in and maybe the same thing continue. You could change this government kill to get in, maybe the same thing continue. But can't to Mr. McMahon and Patrice so change until we get the right change. Change until we get the right people to run the country.
Change. Yeah.
You understand?
Okay.
It ain't so much the corrupt politician, a corrupt thing. It ain't goat and sheep going out to go out, you know. When every 5 years up, you know. It's human being, educated people went school. And if you find a government going any corrupt, next 5 years come, you're going to elect that government. Man, let me think everything. We always talk about our politician, this politician, that. Politician is a human being. The pastor minister is a human being. They will make mistake. But you see politicians going in there and doing things very pleasing to the country. Yeah? Who you going to talk? You're going to talk about the people who get these corrupt politicians and get back these people in government again. If they're corrupt for 5 years. After the wrong things for 5 years. Man, people never get look at the guy in Africa. Burkina Faso. Abraham Cherry. He changing the whole globe and the whole political situation in the whole world right now. And after him we kill him.
Okay.
Where we can't think like him and do like and think like the people in Burkina Faso. Eh? And Kolonji, you got to talk what's happening here too. You got to talk what's happening here. Because nobody over there in the government, our government is thinking. The government is thinking the people let them here. And if they're doing something wrong, we got to talk about they're doing the wrong.
Okay.
We can't talk about England over there, this over there, white man over there, white man this and white man that.
Okay, how'd you loud and clear, my brother? How'd you loud and clear?
Okay, then, Patrice, you have a wonderful night. May God bless the country again.
Thanks a lot for your intervention. Good night, Ambassador. Troops. Patches. I will start with Timo. Does he think we cannot count to 21 on or less? We are naked, Patches. He has not been honest with us. Simmons cursed him off, he said nothing. Snake dug him up, he stayed quiet. Sean dig up his clothes, he said nothing. Tell him we're looking for a political leader, not a saint. Darby should have been made to pay back some, if not all of the perks he got. July with Lucifer was hoodwinked. Lucifer law firm won a case for Darby. The man has no decency, he should have absent himself. Darby walked away with everything. July and the people got robbed. We have no shares in that property anymore. They like round tables. I hope the so-called journalists have real questions to ask this month. How much the place was sold for? Did the government look into the buyer's background? Can they verify where the money came from? And so on and so forth. Warrior, good night. God bless and plenty respect. Caller, thank you for holding your live.
Love and greeting.
Greetings, my brother.
How you are with our brother Patrice?
Peaceful, Ras. I haven't heard you for some time. It's all well?
Yeah, me just listen to your program there, Farley, and to your aspect of your thesis and your outline, and to what you will insert in the information. But let me ask something generally. If this is the problem, why is it that National Bank is sitting there not making the emphasis of requiring that money that was supposed to be paid by a loan that they give to this developer? And another thing, we finding these things here applying to these developers when they are not coming with the money, and we still hanging out money to them. I find that I, a politician, and you in particular, me not count you out, because all I was in that same garbage where you just move like that poop. It's garbage, this poison against the people development because of economical power we are inserting for the people who we call investors and even those of the local investors here. It's a shame to see that 1935 our ancestors fought for something of a change, and to this day we still can't see a change on our political garbage.
We didn't emphasize that change in political, we emphasized that change of the standard of living, the way how people were being treated, inhumane. You see? And today we're still being treated inhumane. That's why I don't vote. And I'm ready to tell our politicians, all I should be in jail, whether Labour, CAM, PLP, CCM, or NRP. All is cooked and party. You all have a blessed night.
Thank you very much. That's what Straight Talk is all about. This message reads, Patches, when Dr. Drew sits at the rectangle table tomorrow to have his round table press conference, we know he will be hot for Dr. Harris. But please let him know that people are listening. I am sure he has realized that people are now paying closer attention to what he says and what is really going on. So unless he has answers, he better don't cut no style tomorrow. We want all the information. He's always picking out what he wants to think are the noteworthy parts and leave out pertinent information. So better put on the Prime Minister hat tomorrow, be diplomatic and give us the information we want. Read this email. Caller, you live.
Good night, Mr. Liburd. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
This is Kalikwan Auntie.
Yeah, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to guide you by the rules of brevity.
And last week I was trying to get in, I ain't get in.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But okay, let me ask a question, right? I heard that the police was supposed to go over Marriott to meet the Prime Minister and the Commissioner, and some of them ain't went. Well, some of them who ain't went, they have a right because maybe they don't like them or they don't like what's going on in the country. They're not treating them good. The second topic for me tonight is my brother with his son. Up to now, he cannot get no justice. Up to now. Mr. Liburd, we're really going on in think it going on the jail, you know. It's poverty coming on us. We have to watch this thing close. It's poverty coming on us. 250 is not no money for poor people. They used to get 500. He cut off 250. And he feel like, oh, they were 250. So give them 250 and pull them off. When another election come, they're going to go for those same people and put them back inside here. Labour do not like people. They don't want to see people get on. They don't want to see people rise up. He taking them tax money and going up and down the place flying from plane. Every minute they're going in the horse. Canvas got Dr. Timothy Harris take some little boy. Only he wants supposed to have the floor and talk. But really going on, it was the election, you know. In the election, those people are not supposed to inside there. And let the people go on the street to get them out. Because when they step inside there and police have got to meet them in there, you know, think it's done with. Think it's done with everything going backward since Labour gone in. Nothing come forward, everything go backward. You scared see anybody on the street? Night and day. You scared see anybody going top or going tongue, but make a shopping at waiver. Something not going on good in this place there. Okay. Something ain't going on good in this place since Labour gone in. Everything just going dead. Dead, Mr. Liburd.
Okay, Kaliko's aunt.
Mr. Liburd, before you go. When is election?
It is
don't tell me 2027.
Well, it's constitutionally due in 2027, but you know, we can try to expedite it if we get out on the street and we start to
but people need to get out on the street because everything that you said, everything is anywhere and nothing could come anywhere yet.
Yes.
Nothing happening, think it's not keep, nothing go on, nothing do.
Okay, but thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your contribution. I'm sorry I have to cut you, but I'm running out of time here, my dear. But
I want to see Dr. Timothy Harris. Okay. Mr. Harris, would you please give me a call?
Okay, my dear.
Kalikwan Auntie, please give me a call. I think you have my number. Please give me a call.
Okay, Kalikwan Auntie. Thanks a lot for your.
Tell Mr. Timothy Harris, please give me a call.
Okay, I'm sure someone will give him that message. But thanks a lot for your intervention, and I'll just wrap this final email. Good night, Mr. Liburd. It is sad about the sale of the marina, but they have made millions on vessels entering the marina. But when it comes to our national bank, it's all bad mind people at the top. Workers have to get loans from other lending institutions, and persons just default a few months with less than 200,000 and lose their property. But a white man can default on millions, reads this email, and that is the fact. Patches, Burlington was on point tonight. The criminals are after the wrong people. Big up, Burl. If it's one time I support you is tonight, reads this other email. And my Straight Talk family, as we wrap tonight's programming, I'm going to take perhaps 2 more calls. If those callers can be ruled and be guided by the rules of brevity. And when I say brevity, I'm going to really stick to that rule. But as we wind down tonight's programming, caller, I can only give you 20 seconds. Can you use it?
I'll take 15.
Thank you.
Brother Patches, I will reaffirm Mr. Burl Jones' utterance, and I will reaffirm the gathering, the meeting that the Prime Minister will have. Everyone, get out in your pajamas, get out in your joggers, and flood the zone where this meeting, this announcement, this whole feet to the fire is, and act, but act peacefully and send a message.
Okay.
Only a protest. We're not going to overthrow the government violently, and we ain't going to use the Malcolm X
Okay, got you.
concept.
Thank you very much. That's where I'm going to end it. Because my Straight Talk family, as we wrap, the Christophe Harbour deal is so corrupt at so many levels. Who would believe, as I mentioned earlier, that Denzel Douglas agreed to give up the road, give up the Dr. Kennedy Simmons Highway? I've put it on your screen before. I've done it again. Section 4 of the Christophe Harbour Agreement that relates to road acquisition, maintenance and landscaping and traffic improvements. But we must ask ourselves, why would the Douglas Labour government acquire a road that it owns? It says the government shall acquire by compulsory acquisition or otherwise title to the Dr. Kennedy Simmons Highway, the right of way and improvements thereon, and it continues. But ask yourselves the question, why would the Douglas Labour government sign an agreement to acquire a road that it owns? Who the hell owns the Kennedy Simmons Highway? The Simmons government put $25 million US, I think it was, to construct that road. They call it the road to nowhere. So what is the intention of Christophe Harbour? To make the Southeast Peninsula a republic? These are questions we have to ask. Look at paragraph 2 there on your screens. It says the joint venture may relocate, widen, improve, alter, raise, lower, landscape, and so on. Is it going to dig up the roads? So ask yourselves the question, my Straight Talk family. Is this agreement still valid? You must answer that question. But Terence Michael Drew cannot afford to be honest or transparent, else he would tell the country what is the disposition of this agreement. The St. Kitts Development Agreement or the St. Kitts Peninsula Resort Agreement. He would tell the country what the extent of the government interest in Christophe Harbour is. Remember, like I said, Christophe Harbour blocked the Sandy Bank Bay, blocked access down there. And clause 24, paragraph 2, joint venture, as I said. It tells us, my Straight Dog family, read it. Soon, perhaps we cannot go to the Majors Bay or Reggae Beach. We can't catch the Sea Bridge, the water taxes. Will the public have access? These are issues that have to be addressed. But thanks to Denzel Douglas and his crew, including Gada, who makes so much noise, who gave 852 plus acres of land, as mentioned earlier, for US $17 million. Then turned around and lent Buddy Darby and Christophe Harbour US $60 million. And according to Terrence Michael Drew, only got back $2.7 million. My Straight Dog family. The former Team Unity administration under Timothy Harris sought to establish the rightful ownership and enforce financial accountability over 433 acres of prime land tied to Christophe Harbour project. That case went to court. It was not just about acres. It was about accountability. It was about justice. It was about whether the people of this country would be repaid what was owed to them. Whether a developer who borrowed and defaulted would be allowed to walk away while the people bore the costs. My Straight Dog family. National Bank takes people's properties. Look on their website. They celebrate how they repossess people's properties. And as I said earlier, men like the late Commodore Clark must have turned in his grave and he would have heard what's happening at Christophe Harbour.
The National Bank has been assisting in the development of our country. It's a local bank owned by ordinary people, assisted in the development of the country by lending us money so that we can enjoy a better standard of living, the housing projects.
But that was then, my Straight Dog family. All orchestrated by a man called Terence Crosman, the vice chairman and managing director of National Bank. They have charted a new course. And we ask, what is the relationship? What is Crosman's relationship with Buddy Darby? Was he like a bagman for Douglas when the US $60 million, my Straight Dog family, and that loan was delivered? Or was Crosman just a CEO at SIDF doing his job? No, Crosman is the vice chairman and managing director of National Bank. Can he tell us what happened to the case? Why was it buried only since you assumed office, your current office, Terence Crosman? Why has the bank failed to continue to fight for those 433 acres of land? Those lands were pledged as collateral. They were tied to a loan, not a gift, not a grant, and certainly not an investment. But what we have, though, it seems a new Labour Party that has surrendered our independence from our colonial masters, that our first national hero and Labour leader, Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, fought for over his entire political career. The surrender began in 2005 under Denzel Douglas, my Straight Dog family. I mentioned that earlier. But it's very disappointing to learn that Terence Michael Drew sends our people back to the plantations to pick peppers. That's all he has to offer us.
Our agricultural sector is also undergoing a transformation as we seek to reduce our dependency on imports and empower our local farmers. In this regard, we have partnered with Tabasco to provide our farmers with an unprecedented opportunity to cultivate high-quality peppers for export. Your government has secured the necessary equipment and location to support this initiative, ensuring that our farmers can benefit from this lucrative global market.
And who would believe, my Shredog family, this former minister now wants to send our people back to Salt Pan Estate to pick salt, my Shredog family.
Government should try its very best to explore the possibility of recovering salt harvesting from the Great Salt Pond, as was done in the past. And if this is possible, it could set up a separate niche industry for our people who, on an organized basis, would harvest and sell the exotic salt to yachters and other visitors and to the local market as well.
And this former minister, Gada, remember? $50 million contract and more he signed for the Valley Golf Course. And to date has not accounted for it. No account whatsoever for this golf course.
Apparently, he wants me to explain to the nation why I, as a minister, signed an agreement. Well, it seems as though he wants me to explain why I signed. I'm told that he said he's not accusing anybody of bubble, but that he was just asking, where's the money? That's what I'm told, right? And I don't remember. But let me say what I have to say. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
My Sherlock family, there comes a time when silence becomes betrayal. Jew has been silent on so many things. The airport expansion, we will address that come Thursday. But betrayal of the very people to whom a nation belongs is not just a betrayal of duty. But that time, my straight dog families know. Today we are faced with troubling reality. A country where corruption wears a suit, power hides behind technicalities, and accountability is buried under convenience. We will not stop talking about the recent sale of the marina and its assets at Christophe Harbour. We don't know the value of the deal. We don't know what the people of St. Kitts and Nevis received in return. And worse yet, it appears that our Prime Minister either cannot or will not tell us the truth. And that is unacceptable, my straight dog family. The bank, under the direction of Vice Chair and Managing Director Terence Crosman, continues to walk a double path. On one side, poor citizens who fall behind on their mortgages lose their homes. On the other, Christophe Harbour defaults on multi-million-dollar loans and walks away without paying 1 cent. That, my friends, is not governance. It is racketeering. Let's call it what it is. 2 standards of justice, 2 sets of rules, one for the rich and one for the rest of us. And my straight dog family, Mr. Crosman was CEO of the SIDF when it issued a loan to Christophe Harbour that was never repaid. Today he is at the helm of the National Bank, silent on a court case involving 453 acres of land used as collateral for yet another unpaid loan. So I ask, who is charting this course? Is Mr. Crosman quietly moving the cheese behind closed doors? Or is the Prime Minister who leads, is it the Prime Minister who leads a government that owns 51% of the National Bank and yet claims to know nothing? Either way, the outcome is the same. The people are left in the dark, while a privileged few play monopoly with the nation's money, play monopoly with the nation's wealth. Let's be clear. This is not their cheese to move. It's the people's cheese. It's our land. It's our money. It's our future. Let us demand an audit. If there's to be a sustainable future for this federation, it must be built on truth, transparency, and trust, not backroom deals, silence, and selective justice. We stand at a crossroads, not of party politics, but of national direction. For too long, we've seen corruption thrive at every level, quietly undermining the dreams of our people. And this must end. My Straight Talk family, our leaders must do more than ask for votes. They must declare their values, and more importantly, they must declare their intentions for this country. What are they building? What legacy do they wish to leave behind? We must demand this clarity, not as a favor, but as a right. My Straight Talk family, it's time for leadership that is transparent, accountable, and not driven by ego or party loyalty, but by love for our land and people. It's time to stop changing conductors and start changing the direction of the train. Else, we will continue to have different tiers, different leaders, and the same pile of poop. That's my Straight Talk. That's my story for tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I must thank Almighty God, therefore, for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I thank you, the many viewers. I thank you who sent emails, those who call. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.